I start the FedEx,
No.
or I start the European.
Let me start. Yeah. My topic is influence of financial structure on financial performance of manufacturing firms quoted on the Nairobi Stock Exchange. My supervisors are Dr. Waweru and Dr. Idai. The introduction, I have the financial structure, which is the mix of debt and equity that an organization or a company or a firm uses to finance its operations. Firm in monetary terms. Then debt financing, because I'm focusing on one variable, which is debt financing, is when a company raises funds by borrowing money either on short-term or long-term basis. Then on the statement of the program, I'm focusing on the manufacturing firms, and as you know, the manufacturing firms were one of the big four agendas. It was among them, and it was expected that it should be performing very well, but as per the performance of the GDP, it's not performing well. That is why I decided to look at it. Then for the objective and the hypothesis, the general objective was to determine the effect of financial structure on the financial performance of manufacturing firms quoted at the Nairobi Securities Exchange. Then for the specific objective, because I'm focusing on one objective, is to establish the influence of debt financing on financial performance of manufacturing firms quoted at the Nairobi Stock Exchange. Then for the hypothesis, it was a null hypothesis that debt financing has no significant influence on the financial structure of firms quoted at the Nairobi Securities Exchange. Then the theory was an agency theory. That is what was underpinned under the debt financing, because we have the shareholders and we have the agents. So it's their duty to make sure that the shareholders are getting something good from the investment that they have done. So they are going to ensure that they can pick on debt financing so that they can leave the investment for the shareholders to get their dividends. Then the conceptual framework, the debt financing, the construct were short-term debt, long-term debt. Then for the financial performance, it was measured using net profit margin. Then the research methodology, We have the research design. The study used descriptive research design. It seeks to methodically gather data and characterize a population, circumstance, or a phenomenon. Then the target population. The target population of the study was 8 manufacturing firms quoted at the Nairobi Securities Exchange. The respondents for this study were 114 employees, comprising of general managers, directors, and finance department staff. There are 9 manufacturing companies, but for Mumias Sugar, it was not in operation for the year 2022 and 2019. So I dropped it. I was left with the 8 manufacturing firms. Then for the data collection instrument, I used the questionnaire, which was given to 114 respondents. Then for the secondary data, I used secondary data correction form, which I used to gather data from the audited financial statements. Then data correction procedure. I got a research permit from NACOSTI after getting an introduction letter from the School of Business. Then for the questionnaires, they were administered to the 8 firms. Then the data analysis. I analyzed data by descriptive and inferential statistics. In descriptive, I looked at the mean, the standard deviation. Then for inferential, there was correlation analysis, there was regression. Then for the respondent, for the research findings and discussions, I sent 14 questionnaires to my respondent. Then I got 109. Those were the valid and returned questionnaires. Then unreturned were 5. So that was 96%, which was good for the standing.
You have 2 minutes.
Okay, then the standard sort on the descriptive, the mean was okay, and the standard deviation. And I go to, I think I can go to the model summary because my minutes are few. You can see that my R squared was 7.798, which represents 79%. So it shows that debt financing is a good, it was positive and significant to their financial performance. So from the model coefficient, I had a p-value of 0.031, which is less than 0.05. Then for the conclusion, I say that debt financing has a positive correlation with the dependent variable. The results are statistically significant and a strong relationship as evidenced by hypothesis research. The study recommends that the government, through capital market authority and other stakeholders in the corporate sector, should develop an appropriate policy. The policy should attempt to organize the debt capital markets to enable the corporate bodies to get access to low cost and long-term capital so as to finance their investments and operations. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Please let's help each other, because by giving an input, you also improve our work. Similarly, we also expect improvement from these members. So please just follow the presentation and ensure that you give some comments. Maybe.
Okay, thank you, Mercy, for the good work. And For me, I don't have much. I never question, but I think you have done a good work in your tables. You have presented the significance factors, and I commend you for that.
Thank you.
On small businesses which are abundant in Kenya.
Yes, I think they can, and even the companies or the firms which are not quoted at the Nairobi Securities Exchange.
Described as the managing of an entity in a manner that guarantee proprietors being stakeholders receive equitable return on investment. Deposit taking circles. Problem statement of the study, deposit-taking circles in Meru County face challenges primarily because their directors are often retired professionals from the other field and need more technical skills for circle operations. This leads to suboptimal decision-making and negatively impacts the circle's performance. According to Mwangi 2015, deposit-taking circles are voluntary organizations and members can vote for anybody they like who may not necessarily have skills to run a circle. General objectives. The study is objective-driven, aimed at determining the association between cooperative governance and financial performance of deposit-taking circles in Meru County. Specific objective: to establish the effect of transparency on the performance of deposit. The study focused on deposit-taking circles in Meru County, selected due to the presence of over 10 deposit-taking circles that have been operational for at least 2 years. The target population comprised directors from 11 deposit-taking circles in Meru County. Questionnaires were utilized to collect primary data, while secondary data was obtained from annual reports for deposit-taking circles and gather information of
If I have 2 minutes.
and go straight to 5B. I issued 75 questionnaires and 64 questionnaires were totally filled and returned. And go to model, multilinear model. If the transparency was used and it was increased by 0.615, the financial performance of SACCO was increased. Conclusion. The objective was to determine the influence of transparency in the performance of the deposit-taking circles. The standard done on this factor to enhance the performance of the circles. Thank you.
Questions, reactions? Anybody with a reaction?
then the piloting was done, and also validity was also done. Then I moved to the findings. That is the response rate. I had 177 questionnaires which were sent to respondents, and out of them, and from them 135 were returned for analysis, and this represented a percentage of 76.2%, which is statistically suitable for this kind of study. And the response rate, there was gender, the frequency and percentage. Those are the percentages shown there, and the frequency of the responses that were made for male and female, which means both groups were represented, and especially female. This shown that MFIs followed the gender rule in their work, in their employees' placement.
When do you have 3 minutes?
So, then there's descriptive statistics. Value for the system quality. You can see the mean there, which is 4.48, which means the study was very positive, because the mean tends to towards agree, with a standard deviation of 0.568. Then there's a hypothesis testing. You can see that the just a minute. We move to conclusion. So the study concludes that IS adopted by MFIs in Meru County has significant and positive effect on financial performance of MFIs. System quality in the linear regression model was found to have positive and significant effect on financial performance. The relationship between IS was statistically significant, as the P was below 0.05. Thus implying that MFIs in Meru County are applying IS in order to recommendations of the study. In light of the findings and the need for MFIs to improve its financial performance, there is need for adopting IS appropriately to meet the needs of users. The study recommends that MFIs should continuously carry out a market research on IS that is user-friendly, reliable and relevant in giving timely information for decision making. Thank you.
Thank you, Morris. Morris? Questions or comments? It's not a master question, maybe someone think you can improve.
We need to be active We are assisting each other on this academic discourse. That's why you are here. We are not just here to listen without at least adding value to the other person. When you ask a question or put a comment, you are assisting that person. And that's why it is a conference. So please guys, don't be afraid. Morris, I've seen in your recommendations, you have not told us whether there is need for further research or you have just exhausted so that it is complete with your work.
No, it is not complete. I think I just extracted, but the detailed information for the recommendation is indicated in the main.
At least you should have put a recommendation on that for that variable, because even that variable is likely that you have not exhausted. There is something in that variable which has not been covered in your study.
Okay.
Thank you, Maurice, for that presentation. Maybe just to ask, one of your construct, the independent variable, you said was what? If you take us to a conceptual framework. You talked about competitive advantage. How do you measure that competitive advantage and survival?
This was mentioned through the, I think it's according to how the firm is gaining the returns in terms of maybe expansion, about the expansion of the business and how the firm is increasing in terms of the performance every year.
Okay. Maybe that competitive advantage, you can also make use of a source like a microquota, be able to give you what variables you are likely to use in terms of measuring the competitive advantage, survival, and so on. Thank you very much for that presentation. You can sit down. The next person to present is Digital Logistics by Emily. I hope you have sent your document to her email. I don't know the. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Emily Miraria, and my topic is Digital Logistics Systems and Supply Chain Performance of Tea Factories in Meru County. So we are going to, the reason why I decided to pursue this topic is because I realized that there was a gap when it comes to digitization of logistic systems in agro-processing factories, like coffee factories and especially tea factories. Yeah, so go to the objectives. The study will be guided by 4 objectives, and it has 1 general objective and 3 specific objectives. The first one is to assess the influence of digital logistics systems on supply chain performance of tea factories in Meru County, Kenya. To establish influence of warehouse management system on supply chain performance of tea factories in Meru County, Kenya. To assess the influence of transport management system on supply chain performance of tea factories in Meru County, Kenya. Then to determine the influence of inventory management system on supply chain performance of tea factories in Meru County, Kenya. So we have the conceptual framework. Under this conceptual framework, we have different constructs that will be used to measure each variable. Under warehouse management system, we have inventory accuracy, inventory turnover, and order picking. Under transport management system, we have number of shipments, lead time, and transportation costs. Under inventory management system, we have stock availability, obsolete stock, and perfect order rate. Then in supply chain performance, the constructs that will be used to measure that variable will be cost effectiveness, supply chain agility, and customer satisfaction. Then you go to research, methodology, and data analysis. This study used analytical cross-section design because the main aim is for the researcher to analyze and describe the relationships between the variables. Then the location of the study is there are 7, okay, I know there are more than 70 factories, but I chose the ones that were the busiest, which are 7. The population of the study is, the target population is 1,230. The sampling procedure that was used is stratified sampling, because stratified sampling is used to highlight differences among groups in a population, because I will be dealing with supply chain officers, finance officers, and all those people are in different groups. So under the findings, I started with the pilot study, which I conducted in Embu, because in research, when you're conducting a pilot study, it has to be outside your area of study. And I used the 10% of the sample size, which was 30. And in this case, the response rate was 100% because I was able to get all 30 respondents. And I tested for the reliability, which was well above 0.78, which means that it was very acceptable. Then for the validity, I used the KMO and Bartlett's test, and also the factor loading, where the KMO is above 0.7 because it is 0.835, and the Bartlett's test, the p-value should be less than 0.05. In this case, it was 0.00, so it is okay.
Let's go to the findings.
Then I'm still analyzing the data. So for now, I did 2 diagnostic tests, which is autocorrelation and multicollinearity. I don't know if you can see them. So in this case, the autocorrelation is we use the Durbin-Watson test, which was 1.640, meaning that it has a positive autocorrelation, meaning that there is a relation, there's some relationship between the variables. Then I also did multicollinearity. I was able to get tolerance between 0.5 to 0.9, meaning that, which was higher than 0.1, meaning that there was a general multicollinearity acceptance. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's clap for us.
Any question, comments for Emily? Okay. So this is a work in progress, eh?
Yeah, I'm still analyzing. I haven't finished analyzing the data.
Okay. So what are your expected findings?
Pardon?
What will be your expected findings?
From the analysis that I've done so far, I expect that there will, the gap is still there, but there's also room for improvement in further research, especially when it comes to digital logistics systems, how they affect, how sustainable are they economically and environmentally. That is something else that I can say.
So you have already collected data?
Yes.
From the data that you have collected, what can you generally say about the digital logistics?
Yes.
What do you say about it in manufacturing labs in your county?
So far, for the tea factories that I went to, 3 of them have adapted partially to it. The rest are still on the process, because one of the main challenges that many of them pointed out was the costs involved, and these digital systems, number one, they're not made in Kenya. Somewhat they have to be imported, meaning that some IT experts have to be involved, and they're not from Kenya, and yeah, it's a very expensive procedure.
Okay, thank you, Emily, for the good work. Even saying thank you is a comment. You see, you keep quiet, you don't comment whether she has done a good work. You can take the mic and say good work. So when you just keep quiet, someone doesn't know. Feedback is very important. So thank you for the work. Maybe the question that I may ask, a general question. You have been in the field, you have collected data. Some of us here are yet to get in the field. What are the challenges that you experienced during the data collection?
Okay, one of the challenges that I experienced was accessibility, accessing those tea factories. Remember that many of them are outside, as in they are in the interior, especially the ones in Igembe. They are interior, so sometimes, and that time when I was going to collect data, it was raining. It was during the El Nino time. That was a challenge for me to access them. Another one was getting the managers to plan the date, having to explain to them that I want to collect data. So also accessing the managers, and then the cost. It was very expensive.
Okay, thank you very much. You can proceed to sit. Please, let's be active. Let's add value to our presentations. Remember, we are trying to disseminate our findings. So when you give an input, as Mudara said, feedback is very important, because somebody would like to know whether he or she had presented well or not, even like that. So please, let's add some value to our presentations so we can fit.
Thank you.
The next person to present is Paul Ogola, Computer Accounting. Please stick to our guideline. Title, problem statement, tools, findings, and conclusions and recommendations.
Good afternoon. Okay, my name is Paul Ogola. So I've not yet done the data collection. So next week I'll be proceeding to the pilot testing. So this is just a mere proposal. Okay. So my topic is computerized accounting systems and financial performance on the insurance companies in Kenya. So I will go straight to the statement of the problem. So many insurance companies are experiencing challenges related to accounting due to inadequate ICS systems. So some of these firms lack effective ICS, enabling unauthorized individuals to access and tamper with the electronic programs, altering the data and even causing huge economic losses to the firm. That's according to Word 2023. So inadequate ICS systems lead to errors in financial transactions, which give way to erroneous withdrawals and approval of fraudulent claims. So moreover, due to the rapid growth of modern technology and computerizations, there is an upsurge in computer use in organizations, leading to increase in fraudulent practices. So despite adopting sophisticated and expensive ICS systems, organizations are still witnessing increasing rates of computer frauds, embezzlement of funds, malpractices, and other fraudulent activities. So insurance companies need to adopt ICS in their computerized accounting systems to attain enhanced profitability and increase the efficiency of their staff and minimize frauds. So the absence of the data automation exposes accounting teams to workflow inefficiency that causes bottlenecks and accounting errors. Inadequate time of resources to work on the assignment that add real value to the organizations. It is according to Minor 2023. So the study objectives. So my general objective is to examine the effect of the computerized accounting systems on the financial performance of the insurance companies in Kenya. Then my specific objectives is to find out the effect of automated ICS. Then another one is to establish the effect of the automated data processing on the financial performance of the insurance companies in Kenya. Then the third one is to determine the effect of the relational database management on the financial performance of the insurance companies in Kenya. Then the last one is to examine the effect of automated reporting. And now the research hypothesis. And then justification of the study.
You have 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
3 minutes left. Okay, then I've not yet gone to the field, but I have some limitations which might affect me during my pilot testing and data collections. So the challenges likely to be encountered by the researchers is that access of the financial information, since the insurance companies are very competitive and getting the financial data may not be that easy. Then another one is that the other challenge to be experienced during the data collections will be that to access the ICT department to establish the extent of adoption of the ICT. So maybe those are the challenges that maybe I can experience, though I have not yet gone to the field. So the limitations of the study. So the challenge of accessing the data, the challenge of access to data collections will be solved by the introducing a letter of data collections authority to the insurance company. Then the next one, the researcher will also use his network and communication skills to make insurance companies. Like now I've been contacting the insurance guys, and now maybe I know that I will get the data there. Concept of framework. Tools.
Just a summary of chapter 3. You have 1 minute when you left.
So the tools that I will use is the one main one is the questionnaire. I will mostly use the questionnaire. Then on the data analysis, I will employ both qualitative and quantitative method of data analysis. Then my questionnaires, I have both the questionnaires already, so I have both open and close-ended questionnaires. I think that is the end of it.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. Maybe you have said that you're going to have to use qualitative and quantitative. How are you going to analyze the qualitative data that you collect?
How to analyze it?
Yes, the qualitative.
So quantitative data analysis.
Qualitative.
What I would like you to note is that as you put forward your proposal, think forward the challenges that you might face. Sometimes you may end up creating them yourself by putting some statement there that you have not thought out how you are going to tackle that. So you evaluate, and if you have no way to do that, then maybe you can consult and see, get an alternative, because you may put that qualitative there if you have not thought out how you're going to analyze it, then it becomes a block at the end.
That's okay.
Any question?
Okay, I passed that stage. So I have a sample, a piece of copy of a sample size. Like I will do add a total number of the total. Okay, first, in Kenya we have 58 insurance companies. So and I was like the total population that I will capture in the overall is around 4,060. So and the sample size after I did the calculation was about 364. So I will narrow down to at least around 10 companies when I'll be doing out my sample. Okay.
Thank you. There's also another one there, please.
Thank you. I think we'll listen to you. I'm not really from the field of business or in terms of accounting. I'm from education field, but I've looked at I've seen your objectives. You have several objectives, around 4 of them. How are you going to analyze those objectives? Because they are very wide, and if you are using only a questionnaire, unless you have other tools you're going to use in terms of your data collection, because you don't need to have only one questionnaire, because you have several objectives, around 4. So if you have 4 objectives, then you must diversify different methods of data collection and also different methods of data analysis for you to be able to respond to all the objectives. Unless you want to have a different way of doing it, you can clarify for us.
Okay, that's a good question. So I will also introduce the interviews. I will also introduce interviews, but then I wanted also to narrow down to 3. Yeah, I will narrow down to 3. But I will also introduce an interview.
Yeah, I would wish 3. If you are doing master's course, 2 or 3 objectives are okay. But if you are doing a PhD, then you can go to 4 or 5 objectives. But now if you're doing for just a master's level, then 3 objectives will be okay, because you'll find the data will be voluminous on your site, and responding on each of those objectives may be more involving and may require a lot of time and also financial constraint on your side in terms of going to analyze, finding, coming up with solutions to individual objective. So look at objectives, then see how to go about the data analysis procedures and data collections, then how to be able to analyze so that you see which objectives will respond to your research topic that you want to look at and relate with your research problem.
Yes, thank you very much. So that's an area that I will work closely with my supervisor in the course of this week before I proceed with the pilot testing.
Okay, thank you very much. Clap for you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think, Paul, you got at least better than the others in terms of contribution from 2 members. At least let's also, for the remaining members, let's also contribute in the same way, please. So, thank you. You can proceed and sit. The next person to present is Anne, the brand loyalty. Please, if you present, don't disappear. I've seen several members have already left after presenting. Let's give each other company.
Good afternoon. Okay. My name is Anne Bonaville, pursuing MBA Marketing Option. For today, I'm doing a paper. My bigger document is the topic is brand equity on customer citizen behavior. But today, I'm doing a paper on brand loyalty as one of the dimensions, one of the objectives of my thesis. Why I chose this? Why I chose this topic is that many universities, many higher learning institutions in Kenya and even around the world, they emphasize branding as a base or a framework for customer to make decision. And customer here are the students. 85%, approximately 5% of students consider branding when they choose universities. And again, especially here in Kenya, we have got emergence of many universities. There have been emergence of many universities. We all know some tertiary universities have been converted to tertiary colleges have been converted to universities. So there's a lot of competition, but you get that enrollment in these universities is very low. In fact, according to KNBS, Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, there was a decline of total during 2019-2020 academic year. There's a decline on total university enrollment and 4.7% on public university enrollment. So my study tried to establish the effect of brand equity and by extension brand loyalty as one of the dimensions on CCP. On CCP, that's customer centric behavior. My research methodology as follows. Target population was 3,040 students in 6 universities, that is Embu University, Kenya Methodist University, Dedan Kimathi University, Chuka University, and Karatina University. Then data collection was done using an instrument of questionnaires. Data analysis was done using descriptive analysis and inferential analysis. The table there, you can see okay, we go to the sample size. Sample size was established using a formula by one person called Israel, and the formula is m is equal to, small m is equal to capital N over 1 plus capital N plus capital N e squared, or I squared, where small n is the sample size, capital N is total population, and E is error of sampling. So if you substitute, you can get that my sample size is 254. You can see the sample size distribution of the 6 universities, Embu University through Karatina University. Results and discussion on brand loyalty. These are my findings.
And you have 3 minutes.
Okay. We have brand loyalty. Okay, the result findings are that the discussion was that high percentage of students are proud of their universities. Most of them recommend their university to friends and families. And then on customer citizen behavior, they recommend the results were that students, the 4-year students who are staying long in the university can recommend the university to prospective students. They can recommend their family members. And then conclusion and recommendation. The conclusion is that there is possible and significant relationship between brand loyalty and customization behavior. And then, which means that the stronger the brand, the higher the customization behavior. And then recommendations. My recommendations are that the university management should come up with stronger brands that can attract and retain students in the university. Then my study is significant. It will be useful to scholars. It will be useful to regulators. Scholars will have knowledge about brand equity, brand loyalty, and customization behavior. On policymakers, it will help the policymakers to come up with working policy documents that address branding in the university. Recommendation for further research is that I did my research in Mount Kenya region, so I can recommend that some research, maybe using the same dimensions, can be done in another environment, maybe in Western or coastal region. And again, the research can be done using different parameters, that is different dimensions, like maybe brand accessibility or brand availability on customer citizenship behavior. Thank you.
Thank you, and Francois.
So let's also help Anne to improve our work. She presented on a brand loyalty. And I think we are all brands. Maybe Anne, to ask you some few questions. I would like to ask from your research about the brand loyalty. I have two questions. The first one is, are there any other forces that influence enrollment in universities from your findings? Other than the branding and so on, are there any other forces? Because in some universities we find that the enrollment is high, in others low. Can you attribute all those to brand or there are other forces?
Okay, there can be other forces, but okay, in my research, main research, I'm being guided by 4 objectives. In addition to brand loyalty, we have brand image, brand awareness, and quality, perceived quality.
Yeah, because I expect maybe the politics also play a role.
Sorry?
The politics also play a role in enrollment.
Oh,
Because
yes.
if you carry out maybe a logistic relation or any other kind of tools that you use, they will tell us those that are not attributed to your variables. So you can always say that maybe those are as a result of, maybe you can
Those are
attribute them.
external. Prof, those are external forces that you may not have control of.
So, did you find out? Did you find out? Because I'm not saying that should factor in,
Okay.
but I'm saying that from your analysis,
Yes.
you'll be able to isolate those ones that can attribute to image and brand and others. But there are those that are outside because you don't know how that has influenced maybe your enrollment and so on like that. I don't know, maybe you want to say something?
Maybe I look at that.
Okay. Because if you have E in the regression, did you use, which tools did you use?
Sorry?
Which analysis method did you use?
Descriptive.
Just descriptive.
And inferential.
And differential only?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Then the other thing is, don't you think you are biased? Because if I look at now your sample, many universities 64, and other universities you have 32, and so on. Don't think that maybe the data that will be generated by 64 is more than that can be generated by only 32 or less. If you look at now, just take us to your sample size. You find that, like let's say, Mayo University, your sample size is 64.
Yes.
When you look at now, Embu University only chose 25. Now, I don't know what is the basis. And because that will give you biased result. Because, like now, Dedan Kimadi, you selected double in Mayo University. If let's say the Mayo University respondents will say yes, then it means the result will be biased. I don't know how you chose this before. You can check on that.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. My question is the 6 universities that you chose.
Yes.
Were they the only universities in the region, or there are more than that?
I sampled 6.
Yeah? You sampled 6.
Yes.
The question is, are they the only 6 universities in the region, or there are more than that?
There are more?
How did you settle on the 6? What parameters did you use? For example, you choose Chuka University, is it there?
Yeah.
It is there. Why is Dharaka, choose Chuka University, Dharaka University is not there? What parameter did you?
I mixed up public university and private universities, and again, I really wanted to cover the racial issue of Mount Kenya, as in, I don't choose the university, Chuka, Tharaka, for whichever, I go further so that I can get findings, generalized findings.
Okay, I think you know in research you need to justify.
Yes.
Like let's say for example for Dharaka, you'd have said that maybe it has not been exist for some years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you exclude it. But not saying that maybe you wanted the farthest universities and those things. Anyway, any other contribution? Thank you very much. You can sit down, Anne, for that work, but try to improve on that. Everything that you document need to be evidenced.
Okay.
Yeah. Like let's say the size of the sample that you have selected, the question that you are asked by Simon here, you know, they're important. They're important. Just factor in, take into account. Then the next person that will present will be digital marketing. Ngori.
My name is Daniel Kimori, and today I'll be presenting on my thesis. My topic is digital marketing on the organizational agility of SACCOs in Meru Town. So for that, looking at the digital marketing and how it affects the organizational agility. Organizational agility captures how a firm responds to any external changes and seeks to maintain a competitive edge. So that's my purpose of the study. The general objective is to determine the effect of digital marketing on the organizational agility among SACCOs in Meru Town. So for the specific objectives, the first one was the effect of social media marketing, the second one was mobile marketing, and the third one was website marketing. So on the organizational agility of SACCOs in Meru Town. Then for the theories, there are 3 theories. So I use the resource-based view theory, the diffusion of innovation theory, the dynamic capabilities theory. So those are the 3 theories. So my conceptual framework captures the key constructs for each variable. So for social media marketing, those were the 3 things that were measured, and under my measuring instrument were social network engagement, online customer feedback, and corporate engagement. So those are the moderating variable. Organizational culture was found to be a moderating variable for the independent variables and the dependent variable. So for the research design, the study adopted a descriptive research. So a descriptive research was adopted as it cannot be manipulated by the researcher, and also it provides a more comprehensive understanding of the research topic. So my study was conducted in 5 SACCOs. So the Solution SACCO, Golden Pillar SACCO, Yet SACCO, Capital SACCO, and Centenary SACCO. So we move to the research instruments. So a semi-structured questionnaire was adopted as the research instrument, and also a 5-point Likert scale was utilized to provide responses to the various aspects of the close-ended questions. There was also the open-ended questions, and piloting was carried to improve the research design. So that was it. So there was a response rate. The research targeted 52 SACCO employees that are drawn from the 5 SASTRA licensed SACCOs within. And to consider those, the 52 respondents are the ones that engage on digital marketing. So it's not all the employees of the 5 SACCOs. Yeah. So we move to those are the. So for the 3 specific variables, those are a high level of agreeability. So we move to the. So for data analysis, there was a correlation analysis, a regression analysis, then analysis of variance, and also the regression coefficients were presented. And for the open-ended questions, the thematic analysis for each open-ended question. So in a summary of main findings, all SACCOs utilized the 3 marketing strategies, and that was an indication that they move with the current marketing practices, and they perceive them as important in their sustainability. So those were the summary of main findings. And also the SACCOs recognize the potential of the digital marketing to facilitate their continuous learning and growth. Among the findings of my research was that mobile marketing emerged as the most influential, as it had a higher positive correlation in regard to the other specific objectives. Then so the conclusions of my study were that the SACCOs that had embraced digital marketing strategies, SACCOs had embraced digital marketing strategies to enhance their sustainability, and also SACCOs actively invested in such marketing as they perceive them as likely to enhance their agility in their operations. So there was also the technological advancements that shape how businesses interact with their environment. So it was found out that the digital marketing strategies depicted how the SACCOs met the customer demands, and also how they responded to market changes, and how they took charge of the emerging opportunities. So those were the conclusions from my study. Then the recommendations from the studies that SACCOs that are yet to embrace digital marketing strategies should do so as to navigate the digital landscape. And also, SACCOs need to sustain and further invest in those digital marketing strategies as they were shown to enhance their agility or their response to changes in the market. And also, there were non-significant correlations observed for the social media marketing and website marketing, which suggests a need for a deeper exploration. Then for the open-ended question, there was one question that asked on what mobile marketing aspect that SACCOs should invest in. A highly recommended one was the use of personalized SMSs and push notifications. So SACCOs should capitalize on such to meet customer demands, enhance their competitive edge, and also to enhance their sustainability. So that's another recommendation from the study, was that they need to strengthen their brand reputation and visibility. So areas for future research, as recommended, was that it would be critical for a research that considered the effect of digital marketing involving SACCOs maybe in the country or in other counties. Yeah. So the other one was, it should also explore the underlying factors that cause the correlation between the two variables under study. Another recommendation for future study was uncovering the precise mechanisms through which the strategies impact agility, and this is considering how social media marketing, mobile marketing, and website marketing led to SACCOs' response to changes in the market or when they are seeking a competitive edge in the environment, in their marketplace. And also there's a need to another recommendation from the study was to consider the contextual factors that moderate the observed relationships between the variables. So even though my study considered organization culture as the moderation variable, it would be critical to understand how other factors, including organization size, maybe competitive pressures and industry dynamics, influence the nature of the relationships between the two variables. And also, since my research found a weak regression. Time is up. Okay, so for the last one, since it found a weak regression between the variables, it would be critical to consider the factors that contribute to the organizational agility of SACCOs. Yeah.
Thank you for the presentation.
Any reaction from the members?
Maybe my question is that does it mean that the digital only influence the SACCOs positively?
The digital marketing?
Yes.
As considered from the results of my questionnaire, it influences it positively.
Only. Does that tell you something? Because the reality may be different, probably.
You know, as I'm considering on my aspect of the organizational agility is how they respond to market changes, and digital marketing allows them to capture aspects that change within time. You are able to capture promptly any changes in the market. So you can say a digital marketing strategy will negatively influence how you respond to changes in the market, and at the same time it will allow you to capture timely any change in the market so that you can enhance your competitive advantage. So that's what I found out.
Okay, thank you, Kingori. You can clap for it, please. Now I want to ask from your findings, how many SACCOs in Meru which do not practice digital marketing?
Okay, for most of this, for those I considered in my research were those that had the headquarters for digital marketing, the marketing headquarters at Meru Town. So most of them had just an office of marketing, but it was not separated to digital marketing. So like considering the Capital One SACCO, it had just a marketing department, but it was not the digital marketing department. So it was that I included the recommendation of the study for SACCOs to create a separate digital marketing department. So.
Yeah, I'm getting you, but the question is from the findings, how many did not have a digital marketing?
So let's say 4 had, 1 didn't have.
4 had. You only research on 5 circles?
The one that had their digital marketing headquarters at Meltown. You see, the other circles, they have just a branch, and you cannot consider you cannot get the sample, the population or the participant that knows whether the circles whether they integrate the information they get from digital marketing into their workings. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Kingori, for that. But you can look at that.
Okay, thank you.
So you can sit. The last person, but not least, is Timothy Mudaola to present on sustainability reporting.
Thank you very much. My name is Timothy Mudaola, and I'm presenting a paper on a concept paper on sustainability reporting and financial performance of commercial banks in Kenya. So the aim of the paper is to look at the relationship between sustainability reporting and the financial performance of the commercial banks in Kenya. Sustainability reporting and the financial performance of commercial banks in Kenya. And sustainability reporting, it looks at how organizations they are carrying out the operation in such a way that they are able to take advantage of the current and making sure that they don't disadvantage their future growth or their future existence. And this has come as a result of the extremes that have been seen, the climate, the issues to do with the climate. Although the history of the sustainability, it leads back from, it is related to UN, United Nations, because they have been concerned about the global economy, and at some point there was mistrust between the United Nations and the international corporations, and that the United Nations they felt that these international corporations they don't have good motive. If left on their own, they could mess the global economy, and they came up with a way to control that, and that's how they came up with the concept of sustainability reporting, which resulted from the Brundtland report of 1987, and from there they came up with a concept which you call the ESG, which is the environmental, social, and governance concept, whereby the organization they look at how their operations are affecting the environment, the social, and the governance, and the environment. So they look at all these 3 aspects on how they are affecting. So the point was that for the UN to arrive at this, they came to agree under Kofi Annan that these 2 organizations, the objectives can be achieved mutually, and that's how the concept of ESG came in, and the sustainability reporting, so that to measure how the performance is in regard to this. And I go to my problem statement. And for my problem statement is that there have been a number of researches or studies on this area of sustainability reporting and financial performance of the commercial banks. And what has been found there is inconclusive findings, that most of the people are finding that some of them they are positive relationship, others they have negative relationship, others no relationship. And then those are at the global level. Again, when it comes to Kenyan studies, you find out that again, the studies, they are saying that it is a positive relationship. Most of the studies that I've done in the country, they have talked about positive relationship. Yet, for this, they have not tried to give us the breakdown of this positive relationship. What are the components? You have seen that we have environmental, social, and governance, which are affecting the sustainability. So this study is trying to address the reasons how does this affect the bank performance in Kenya. And then why bank performance? Why financial banks? You look at the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics 2023, the banking asset in 2020, they formed 65.5% of the GDP then. So this is a big component of the economy of the Kenya, and its sustainability is something that we should be concerned of. And then if you look at the regulators, each one of them, you come to Capital Market Authority, it has issued a guidance on that. You come to CBK, it has issued a guidance on that. You come to now Securities Exchange, they have issued guidance on that, telling you that this is a area of importance and of concern to this organization. Again, the banking sector is an intermediary in the economy, which means each one of us here is affected and is using those services. So if they are not sustainable, in case a bank collapses today, each one of us will be affected. That's a way that this study is trying to find out how these sustainability measures are affecting the performance of commercial banks in Kenya. And then objective of the study is, the main objective is to evaluate the influence of sustainability reporting on financial performance of commercial banks in Kenya. And the specific objectives is to evaluate the influence of ESG sustainability reporting. That is in combination of the three. Then you evaluate each one of them individually and find out how they influence the performance of commercial banks in Kenya. Then you have the research hypothesis, the significance of the study. We are talking about the sustainability, how sustainable these banks are, which means the knowledge of these, how they affect the financial performance of these commercial banks. Remember, financial performance is the one that gives us, is a measure that gives us how organizations are utilizing their assets to make or to make resources or to make profit. So if the management of the bank get to know how they influence, then they can be able to design policies that will influence or positively they take advantage of this concept. Again, when they are to inform them when they are developing their policies, reviewing the existing one or the new ones, to the academia, it will add knowledge and also provide future reference materials. The scope of the study, or the banks operating in Kenya licensed by CBK, Central Bank of Kenya. Then the assumption is that they all publish their sustainability report. The limitation of the study is that most of the guidelines that have been issued, they have been given as guidelines, it's not a regulation. So these banks, they have an option to comply or explain, which now means some of them, just an explanation of why they have not issued a report may be a disadvantage. However, we expect that all of them, they will have given some sustainability report, given that the Kenya Bankers Association has come up with the initiative or sustainable financial initiative, whereby all the banks are supposed to incorporate the sustainability aspect in their operations. Methodology, we are going to adopt the philosophy, positivism, research philosophy, which allows the researcher to observe and report on the outcomes of the target population without influencing the activities, whatever is happening, analyzing the things as they are, and also to use the theories to develop and test hypotheses. This research paradigm assists the researcher to achieve that. The research design, I'm going to use descriptive research design in collecting and analyzing data, and it will be useful in explaining the circumstances that they had. And I'm going to use both primary and secondary data. The population will be drawn from banks operating in Kenya, which are licensed by CBK. And then I'm going to carry out the validity and the reliability of the research instrument. Data collection, I'm going to use questionnaire. And then the data analysis, I'm going to use the necessary softwares. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Timothy, for that presentation. I know it is it's a concept paper which can eventually develop into proposal and thesis, and seems to be an emerging area because all the institutions are required to do that kind of reporting. So let's add some value to his concept. Thank you for that. So I think with that we can clap for him. Thank you very much. And with this we come to the end of this conference presentations in the afternoon. So with that, I think for those who have been given an input, just incorporate the input, think about it with your supervisors, and we stop there for today. Thank you very much.
We all meet at lecture theatre 3, that is others are there. We are expecting to converge at LT3, others already there, so please go there for the end session. Thank you.